So the concept of FYA, when did the concept come about?
Your mom and I were busy, blissful wedding. And we spent our time basically playing pinochle and so on and so on. And then one day I got a knock at the door, and there were three of my old friends from the teenage years, Bill Mamone in particular, Ray Cantillo, and Leo Mamone too. And they asked me to help them because they saw that Filipino kids needed something. That's where it started. So I said, okay, yeah. What is it? What was it? Well, Filipino kids were not doing anything. They were just running the streets. Filipino kids didn't know that they were Filipino, so on and so on and so on. What can we do about it? And so I say, hey, I got a good friend by the name of Juan Diaz, who's now president of the community. Let's ask him for help. And that program started off that way.
That was in what year?
1957. About 5 months before Tim was born. It was in February 1957. And then when we got that started and so on, about 2 years, the second year, they wanted to have some kind of representation in the parades because Filipinos had no representation. Why don't we do something with youth? Well, something like what the Chinese are doing. A drill team. Now, by that time, I had put in 7 years in the Army Reserves, but I didn't quite know how to march because we were in the medics. You don't march in the medics.
So in 1959, Fred was youth director of the FYA, and he named his chair people, and there was a brand new one. It was called a drill team, and he named Flora Consejo, also known as Tiny, to be the chairperson, and Tiny's name.
By that time, I was the youth director. I said, let's get an instructor to teach the kids how to march in a drill team. All right, so Ben Consejo says, well, there's the instructor for the Chinese drill team, Officer Eurobek. He can sort of help us out. I said, okay. So on Saturday, have him come down.
And Tiny's neighbor was a policeman who was training the Chinese girls' drill team. So she asked him to come and train the girls. So Fred then stole some of my little folk dancers, my older folk dancers, and I was literally upset with him. So he had him up that first day at Atlantic Street Center. The guy never showed up.
Saturday came, no Officer Eurobek. Here were the kids, my Pajuelas, my beloved Pajuelas. I still refer to them. Well, no Officer Eurobek. Here are the kids. So I said, well, I'll try and remember it when I can. I'll try to teach them something. Okay, you guys, get into a line and so on. All right? And I didn't quite know how to do the commands either. All right? But, you know, at least I got to do a straight line and that kind of stuff. Second week, no Officer Eurobek. They still didn't show up. Oh my gosh, McKee, well, maybe we could work something out, all right? It goes half step, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. well, from there on in. Then at the third week, I said, oh, the hell with it. I'll keep it up.
Told Tiny, okay, I'll take the kids until that policeman comes. Policeman never came. By that time, though, Fred enjoyed so much training the girls that he took them on full steam, and because he was in the reserve, so he had to march, but he didn't. But he was up 2, 3, 4, up 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's one of those things. And Fred then started to watch what the other kids were doing, and he read some things, and he wanted to make it Filipino, so he asked people, how do you say left, right, 1, 2, 3, 4 in different dialects? That's how he started to do it. And so it was a fluke. I mean, he was the president of the FYA board, but he wasn't supposed to be training the team. But the person Tiny had asked to do it, the policeman never showed up. So Fred did it temporarily and then took it on permanently until he retired from the team.
And the boys were added when?
A year afterward, a year later, 1960. Talking about music, though. The second year I had the drill team. And I needed to make sure that the princesses stayed in rhythm besides just the bamboo. I managed to say, well, gee, maybe we could we need a drum, a good drum. So all of a sudden, we got the Latin American stuff, congas. And so on. And your Uncle Eddie was playing the bongos by that time, all right? And because I had some sense of rhythm with my hand, I could sort of play with the bongos too. So, hey, I'll use that. And again, just went from there to there. The different instruments that I could get. Then eventually, the gongs. Things just come. They just sort of come. Using what you got. In a way, I think that's a Pinoy way. And I think our people have a genius for that. Again, it was just by miracle that it's happened.
Things were not planned. With your dad, they just kind of happened. I remember one thing in the beginning. Fred would be lying in bed, and he'd jump out of bed because he thought of something. Go to his desk and write down these things. Fred would pick up the drills. He would consolidate what he saw with what he was thinking. But one day we went to see the performance by the Royal Monties from Canada, and they were on horses, and they had lances. So they were doing the trotting with their horses around. Then all of a sudden, we were stunned. They put their lances down. It was a circle, and they went into the middle, and they came out again. And Fred said, God, next thing we knew, he was teaching the girls how to do that. In the beginning, there wasn't a name for everything. I mean, he started naming things for people. I guess he did, like that was Castellano. Mm-hmm. And he picked that up from my brother Michael.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were different things that were happening. Michael was into jazz, so he was a da-da-da.
Well, the da-da-da came from Uncle Mike, all right? Because he used to always go da-da-da, that's why I call it the Castellano.
2, 3, 4, 5, and then go through the Castellano, because they've already got the speech. They've already got Charlie's speech.
Anthony and Damien and Tim, the three of them together, not individually, they're the ones that really know music. I mean, I got it, I was getting it from the heart, but sometimes the heart and work were off, all right? But your brothers have basically done the beat. They are really true musicians.
And the kids are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, that so you did different dialects. You had Ilocano, Tagalog. One day, because your dad's brain was always working, he decided that he's going to do something different. Well, Fred never had the girls and the boys go directly to where they were in the parade. He always had them go way far away to get ready. Remember? It was like another dressing room far away. And then he would have the boys beat the drum. And they marched to the cadence, to their position. Well, one day, then your dad talked it over with the team leaders and with the kids, told them they're going to do something different. This is crazy. So he had made friends with different leaders and different groups, like the Buddhist drum and bugle corps from the Buddhist temple, and the Chinese. It was first the drum and bugle corps, the Buddhist one. Now, all around the parade ground, all those kids they're not at attention. All the other team, they're busy just being kids, you know, waiting for their time to march in. So here comes the disciplined Filipino drills team marching down to a cadence with the drums going, very exotic. And Fred loved to be exotic. Well, they went up, they turned, and they faced them. And so he started to run on the thing, and the girls do, Assalamu alaikum, and when the boys hit it, boom, it was gone.
Assalamu alaikum.
And everybody's eyes, I was there and I thought, oh man, Fred really did it. And then your dad goes, you know. He starts singing that damn thing. Da, 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 da. And then you go, oh. And we're standing in front of that team. And those boys didn't know what to do. The next parade that was, because it was just during Seafair, so there's parades all the time. As soon as the teams heard the exotic drill team, boom, 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 coming down the street, all in line. All the others are all messed up. I remember all the teams start lining up on the side of the road. Fred told me you had to have a mystique.
When you think back about the FYA, what are the milestones and the things that you're most proud of as you look back?
Well, we had some really good milestones. I mean, I think one of the biggest highlights to us was in 1985, when here we were in Washington, D.C. We're standing in the mall in Washington, D.C. And I had the kids all lined up and everything else. 99 kids, 99. a big team. And I looked up, and in the background, there was the Capitol. I said, oh my God, McGee, that was a great sight, you know. I think that's one of the biggest times that I felt it. The second time I felt it mostly too was at the 40th anniversary, when it was a tribute. It was a tribute to a movement. I mean, if you get those kids together yet, today, to this very day, there is still that spirit. It's a spirit that is a lot different. There's a great bonding.
What about the San Francisco performance
Oh,
that
wow. That was dreamlike. That was dreamlike. And you know, and the thing that made it was the princesses. It was the princesses when they glided, they floated, and then the boys, the gentlemen I should refer to, they were on.
I